to the I'm Passing On pod.
I'm Danie.
I'm Christina, and we are so excited today because we are talking about the finale of Love Island USA.
Love Island USA.
And
Army and Sterling.
Honestly, how much does Ian Sterling get paid?
It's got to be a lot because he has a TikTok and he went through a day in the life.
Yeah.
Because he narrates both, obviously,
Yes.
UK and USA,
Yes.
and the different time zones. And I forget where he lives. I think he does live in Scotland.
Yeah.
Scottish
His
accent.
wife is like doing a play or some shit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She's an actor. She's a stage actor.
They tried to have her be the host of Love Island UK. She lasted one season. They're like, get this bitch out.
Oh,
No, just kidding.
no.
Sorry, Laura. You are not a bitch. Is that her name,
But
Laura? I feel like it is.
I don't know, but Maya Jama.
Oh, yeah.
Was she unavailable?
Maya has only been the recent few, like maybe 2 or 3.
Interesting.
It was Caroline. No, what's her name? The one that dated Harry.
She died?
That was like, not Caroline. What is her name?
Yeah, I think it was Caroline.
Right?
From X Factor days.
Yes. So she was the original
She
host.
died?
She died like years ago.
For what happened to her?
I think she got in some kind of accident.
Oh, it was a
Or
tragedy.
like, yeah, it was very sudden.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
can't
or
believe-
or it was like a mental health / drug thing. I can't remember which.
Oh, my gosh.
But yeah, so she was the original host, and she was the host for like 5 or 6 seasons.
Interesting.
And then they brought on Blondie, and I don't remember who else in between, but yeah, Maya Jama has only been maybe the last 2, 3, maybe 4 seasons.
I don't know why she feels like such an original to me.
She is that bitch.
Yeah,
she is the moment.
Host. She's the host. What's in your cup, girlfriend?
We have Cutwater espresso martinis.
She is.
You guys, I put her on.
I'm eating my words.
She hates Cutwater.
I'm eating my words on the Cutwaters. I do feel embarrassed.
For a martini that comes in a can,
It's
giving.
well, shut up. That's what I'll do. Because this is good. It's
Were you gonna
good.
say something inappropriate?
No, I was just
Oh.
going to say I have to maybe try other flavors of things before I take down a whole brand. Fuck this shit. You guys suck. Not me saying that after I completely ripped up Riverside, ripping a whole new asshole.
Well, they deserved it. Riverside deserves our hate. But yeah, we both have Cutwater espresso martinis. I discovered these in Wisconsin, and now every time I go home, this is the only thing that I drink.
God, we have to share one, or you will turn this episode off 30 minutes in, promise.
Because I will be like, and then?
And you know what else I'm going to say about Rob? And you know what else I'm going to say?
It might be a hot take.
I'm going to
hot take,
I'm going
but
to tell you right now. He's kind of cute.
he's a little bit cute, but I'm thinking that he tops Aaron. That's what this would turn into.
We had this discussion yesterday because the way that Rob showed up in After Sun and during the conversation that they were supposed to be having with Aaron and Kaylor, and Aaron just looked really excited, like that he saw Rob to join him on the couch.
And the fact that
I think they almost kissed, which is fine. I mean, be gay for gay.
we were like, now kiss, now take off your clothes.
The moments on the dock, just if you don't believe us, just go to the Reddits because the information is out there.
Yeah, the fact that they were talking about a wedding, and I'm like, but why? You've known each other for 6 weeks and you're also a freaking toad. But they talked about wedding, and then he's like, and Rob will be there? And I'm like, you're more excited about Rob than
Anytime
you are about Kaylor.
that man, Aaron, has the opportunity to speak about Rob or bring Rob into the conversation, it is like, I don't know who you should have messed around with in Casa, Daniela or Rob. You should have brought back Rob, and everything probably would have gone a lot smoother when they got back.
He's like, if I can't get with Rob, I'll share my juices with him.
So, like, I kissed Daniela, right? Like, I kissed her. And then, like, 2 days later, like, she kissed Rob. And then, so, like, by nature, like, I've kissed Rob. They might as well.
Exactly.
I know that the boys in the UK are a lot more comfortable in their identity and masculinity. I think that's a pretty...
Yeah.
It's not as prevalent here in America.
Yeah. The no homo culture is minimal.
Yeah. I think they love to just love on each other. And I do get that that's a part of it. But there was just something else. I could tell there's something else. Anyway, so we just got done crying because the finale was finaleing.
I don't even know where to begin, you guys.
It didn't
so
take us very
much.
long to start with the tears.
No. And it is a full moon. I will preface with that. It is a
Capricorn.
full moon today, and I've been feeling it. But as a long-term Love Island fan, I don't think that I've ever gotten so emotional.
I don't know that I've ever gotten this emotional over a reality show ever. I think I just from watching from the beginning and the way that they've rallied around each other as a friend group, the way that the Love Island audience has rallied around these young people, and just the people that America chose to have as the final four. I probably could not have picked a better final four couples myself. I think they're all just so genuinely sweet.
Yeah, what is in your life cup?
In my life cup, I see the light, and the light is getting brighter every day. The tunnel is what I'm referring to, and I'm near the end of it, as in I can see the bright light.
Yeah.
So close to being done. I can't wait to have a mini summer.
2 weeks, y'all.
I'm gonna fit everything I possibly can into my mini summer. Hopefully go to the beach, do some swimming. We have some events planned here and there before I start work and school back up in the same week, which should be so thrilling for me. I'm overall showing up fine. This is my second full moon in Capricorn in a row, so I was wondering how it was going to affect me, and I think I'm just tired. Also, just realized this. I'm on my cycle. So I'm acknowledging that it's, speaking to cycles, the end of things, right? Is that what this moon is representing?
Yeah.
The end of things. I almost locked this bitch out yesterday. She was outside. The moon was sick last night. Like the way the moon rise.
Yes.
It was sick.
What Halloween movie is that when the moon like rises like that and then the clouds go across it? Is it Halloween Town?
Is it?
I don't know.
I think
but
so.
It looked like a scene out of Halloween. It was so cool. But yeah, this new moon is all about we're closing a chapter and we're closing cycles that were present in our life starting in 2008. So think back to what you were doing in 2008 and who you were.
That's a long time.
It is 16 years.
Yeah.
16-year cycle.
That's a lot of things to close out.
It is. But it's like the good riddance moon. We processed it last full moon. We released it last full moon. This full moon is like, we're not going back there. It's dead. The old me is dead. That old chapter's dead. I'm never going to be that person again. I'm never going to be at that time in my life again. It's done. I'm not necessarily mad about it or sad about it, but I'm just like, goodbye.
It is.
Yeah.
And so it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I almost locked her out because I heard something, but I thought it was coming from her room. And so I'm a Barney 5 around this house. I will lock up every door. And plus, usually the AC is on too during the summer. So it's like I'm closing the door, making sure that the cold air is not getting out. And I like closed the door. I locked it. And then I had a fucking jump scare because I looked out because she moved her head. She turned her head toward me because she was sitting on our brand new outdoor table, which is so nice and lovely.
Beautiful.
It's very cute.
Gorgeous.
I can pick some good pieces, y'all.
Honestly,
anyway,
if you didn't want to go back to school, you could be an interior decorator.
I literally have a whole book about it, and I'm like halfway through. It's definitely something I've thought about. One of the first opening lines of the book is, "Did you ever reorganize your room 20 times as a kid?" I'm like, what the fuck? Yes, I still do. It's every 3 months. She knows.
Yeah.
She'll be hearing some shuffling and kerfuffling upstairs. Anyway, so she like looked at me like, bitch, if you don't open the fucking door. I think you were so confused because you're like, did you not?
I was in the zone. I thought that you were just admiring the moon is what I thought was happening because that's what I was doing. I was journaling. I was watching one of my astrology girlies. I was reflecting. I was writing. So
yeah, I felt bad because I 100% didn't see
Why
her.
do you feel bad?
I did look at the moon because I didn't even check, and I really thought that the audio. I just was tripping because I thought that the audio from your phone was straight up coming from your bedroom.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Instead, it was coming from the complete opposite side of the house. But okay.
Yeah. And I have a fear of being locked out because I'm always getting locked out of the house. Because Danie and her dad are the exact same person, even if she doesn't want to admit it. They both are like going around locking doors, locking windows, hide your kids, hide your wife.
Literally. I'll lock any door. I don't care where I am. I'm locking the door. If it's got multiple locks, even better.
Yeah. So
it's
I come
not
home.
just him. It's her too. Yeah. If they see your car, everyone's home.
Yeah.
That's it.
I'm like, it is 7:45. Am I not allowed to leave the house after 5 p.m.? Because I'm like, I work from home all day. So at 5 p.m., I'm out.
Yeah.
I want to be out and about. I want to do shit.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
it doesn't happen very often.
no.
And I think
It's happened a couple of times in the last few weeks.
Normally, the conversation will happen. Oh, is everybody home, or is Christina out, or what's happening? What's going on? Well, yeah. What's in your cup?
I'm feeling good. Some days you just need to drive and blast some good music, you know?
What is it? I'm curious.
It was a little bit of everything.
Okay.
It was a little bit of Giveon.
The day that I met you.
Yes.
The day
I love. And then a little bit of Post Malone. Who else was on? Some Janae. And it was like a lot of throwbacks. It was like some Childish Gambino. Some old Janae. Some old Post Malone.
I think on the way driving myself, I shuffled my liked songs, and a couple of those artists came up. An interesting song, like a rock song from Childish, came up. I mean, I've had my Spotify for like over a decade, so my liked songs, to shuffle that is crazy. Then we get to the spot, and my daughter goes through my Spotify on the Apple CarPlay thing, and guess who she picks? Just based on the picture alone.
Harold?
No, Chappell Roan.
For the girlie who's not fucking with Chappell Roan, she's like, I don't like this song. I don't like it.
Listen. I told you. Okay? I told you so. We were going to get her on. And she's like, no, change this. No.
I don't like this song.
And then she was like going through, right? Scrolling down. And I'm like, well, what song do you want? You want the Hot to Go song? And I just started singing it. I was like, Hottto. And she was like, yeah. I'm like, exactly. Your mother knows best. I don't know if it's just because I don't know what it is. But I'd rather not argue with a toddler, so it is what it is.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel good. I had some great connection today. I went to yoga at a new spot in a beach town, kind of near-ish. It's in a greenhouse. It was so nice, but it got hot.
Oh, yeah.
Because of the sun. But yeah, overall, just a good recharge day. Got a pedicure. Lately, I've just been feeling like an alien. So today was good. I think I talked about this in the last podcast episode, but having a come to Jesus moment with myself and being like, why are you so crabby and grumpy? Your life is not bad. Why are you acting as if something's wrong? Or I don't know, just not being content and not enjoying life in the moment. Because I'm always like worried about how am I going to make this shit work and move to the next level. So it was like having that come to Jesus with myself of like, it's literally not that serious.
It does require a lot of patience because when you're in the day-to-day of it, it's hard to get yourself outside of that box, especially because that's the society that we live in too. It's like, what's your next move? Yeah. What's your next step? Where are you going next? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I don't even have an answer for that because my next step is just looking like whatever is going to keep me sane in that moment. It's a small step toward the bigger picture, and it's hard for me to see the bigger picture sometimes. Yeah. So I see where you're coming from.
Yeah. And I don't want to say it's a timeline thing, but it's just I've lived so many years of my life now not in a place that I wanted to be or not having the freedom that I wanted, that now that like I'm location-wise in a place that I want to be and really enjoying the people that are coming into my life, the community that I do have and the support system I do have, I really feel like I'm at the precipice of the best days of my life coming up. That I'm like, I just want to do that. Like, I just want to live my life. And it's not necessarily like that I feel like I'm 32, so I should be here, but it's more of like, I'm 32. I know that I will only have so many more days, years, whatever, of having this freedom. That it's like, I just want to live it and I just want to enjoy it and I just want to be in the places and the circles, just living it up, because I know that one day I might have different responsibilities where like I'm not able to be as free and carefree as I am now. I think that I get sad about that. Am I wasting the time that I have where I'm single with no kids, with very low, I don't want to say I don't have any responsibilities. I have responsibilities, but just like low risk, I guess.
Yeah.
No one's depending on me. And I'm like, am I wasting those years of my life but it's also, I don't really have other choices right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can't monetarily change my situation right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's where I get stuck in that. I want to work really, really hard to change my situation so that I can start living the life that I want. But then also reminding myself I can live the life that I want now. It just may not look the way that I envision it
Mm-hmm.
because I'm not in my own space right now.
Yeah. It's almost like trying to measure up your reality to your expectation.
Yeah.
And that's really hard. I mean, our expectation of what we would want is sometimes feels out of reach, but it only feels out of reach right now because we don't have it. So until you find ways to make it happen, which we've talked about plenty of times, it is a long game. It's a waiting game.
Yes.
And it's hard to wait and it's hard to practice patience.
Yes.
And then when you're in a completely different situation where you do have someone relying on you, then you just make choices differently, like how you're saying.
Yeah.
You just choose different. So I think the little things that you do in between to remind you, basically, like how you're saying, that the version of you 2 years ago, 5 years ago, maybe didn't think that what you're doing now
was possible.
Was even possible.
Yeah. And that's what I remind myself. Mm-hmm. The life I'm living today is the life I dreamed and wished I could have had 3 years ago.
Yeah. It just doesn't look picture perfect. It's not idealized in a way that's like, okay, this is exactly how it's supposed to be.
Yeah. And I think I've always been like, I want to have fun in the moment kind of person. I want to have fun now at 32, not when I'm 40 and have less energy to have fun, you know?
But is that a misconception? I want to be 40, fun and flirty.
Yeah, but I think it's just a little different because I think of even how much have I changed from 27 to 32. 27, I was still like out at clubs. I was still like beat bopping around. You know, like I was in a different mindset. Now it's like I want to have my nighttime routine and be in bed by 11 p.m. So it's like I'm feeling like that at 32. How am I going to feel at 40?
Yeah, but that's how you're defining it for yourself. So that makes sense because it's like your version of fun will change as you grow older.
Yeah.
So I try my hardest to think of aging as a privilege, and I'm excited to get to know the future version of myself because I think it's exciting, I think, to not really know because I didn't know that 32-year-old me would be sitting on this couch right here with you. Like, that's exciting to me.
It is.
So I think those are really good reminders. That's good reminders for our feelers, especially if you are even in your 20s now or 30s, approaching your 30s, whatever it is. Those daily reminders to what we're saying. Try your hardest to not take yourself and where you are in life so seriously. Because it really is the little things. Getting out for a couple hours, spending time with the people who you know care about you genuinely. Yeah. And take time to support you and listen to what you got going on and just lifting each other up in that way and not feeling the pressure to perform in a friendship. Yeah. Those are the exciting things that I feel like are happening for us in our 30s. Which is what we'll talk about actually later when we get into it because we love talking about friends.
We do. And I've always been somebody who, maybe because of like my lack of romance in life, I've just always romanticized friendships so much because I've always just put so much value on the fact of people not being your blood or being your romantic partner who's still love and care for you as if you're family.
Yeah, definitely.
And that doesn't mean that I've always been perfect in friendships. I've definitely fallen short and, you know, not always shown up the way that I wanted to. But I do feel like female friendships, I can't speak to male friendships because I'm not a man. I feel like female friendships are just so special. Yeah. Yeah. We'll talk about that more for sure.
We will.
Which I'm excited about.
Yeah.
But shall we get into it?
We have to pull you off for a chat. Listen here. What a gosh darn season. I mean, we talked about how it just feels like the casting was different. The social media was different. The production was different. The budget was budgeting. Yes. Okay. So we all saw The Hideaway.
Everything felt just way more intentional. Yeah. Everything was for a reason, for a purpose.
Yeah. It's not even like things were more expensive. Yeah. It was just like we're opening up the budget to put more effort into the app. We're opening up the budget for a huge social media team to interact with our audience. Oh, yeah. It felt like Leah is my best friend.
Literally.
It literally feels like I know these girls. It feels like I know these guys now. Like, not us blubbering over every single date, over every single love letter. We were crying. Like, I did not have a tissue. This was my tissue, my scrunchie. Okay, I didn't have anything. We were
She
so
was wiping
pissed
her
off.
tears with her scrunchie, you guys.
I have nothing.
She was. And I was pulling a Kaylor. I was like tilting my head back and trying to make sure my tears don't run down my face. But my tears were running down my face the way that Kendall's sweat was running down his body on that date, y'all.
Oh my God. He was wet.
Get the man a towel.
Like, something. You guys don't have nothing. I know it's like a remote island. I get it. But dang, they had to get there somehow.
I know.
You didn't think to bring any, like, nothing at all?
Yeah.
The sun was beating down on that man.
Poor
thing was about to pass out.
With the budget and the props, like, you didn't have anything?
Yeah. You set up 100,000 hydrangeas, though.
For real. That was beautiful.
The dates were... okay, let's get into it, because that's the first thing we want to talk about, is how perfect the dates were for each couple. Please rank your dates from most favorite to least favorite.
Okay, so I have a theory.
Okay.
And it's never steered me wrong in all the seasons of Island that I've watched.
Yeah.
Once I caught on to this, I've always been able to predict the winner. You can tell who's going to win by the dates and the budgets. Right?
Yeah.
Yes. So, but before I go into that, I'll say my favorite date was Leah and Miguel's.
Yeah.
It was gorgeous.
They were really sweet.
Yes.
That was such a moment. It was like a mountaintop moment.
It was. The whole thing. The ATVing, the seeing the horses, the wild horses in the countryside. I didn't realize that Fiji's so hilly. I guess maybe because they have volcanoes and shit.
Yeah, it's like really mountainous.
I guess I didn't realize that. And then that beautiful setup.
Come on. The arches.
All the arches on the mountaintop or the hilltop. Oh, so cute. So I think I would rank theirs first. As far as the setup, actual date, and everything, I think I would rate Cordell and Serena's second. The car and the movie and the freaking fire dancers. The fire dancers came out and I'm like, oh, they win. They won.
They had multiple sections.
Exactly.
And
that's that's what I'm saying. You can tell by the budget.
Yeah.
You can tell.
I'll have to pay closer attention next season.
Leah and Miguel and Cordell and Serena had the best dates. And then you get to, not saying that, I think that Kenny and Janae's date was perfect for them. Because they're both sentimental.
Yeah.
Little bitches. I love them. With the affirmations and the notes from their family. It's exactly what they needed. But I'm like, it was the most low budget date.
I suppose. Yeah. Did they even eat dinner? None of them ate dinner.
No.
It was just
you really never see them eat.
Yeah. It was just like a setup with champagne, usually.
I will put them and Kendall and Nicole in a tie for third because I think that as far as what happened on the date, Kendall and Nicole's were really sweet. And I think that I probably cried the most at that one.
Yeah. Nicole made me cry a lot. I was surprised. For me, I think I would actually rank Janae and Kenny's date first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't have to have the budget to have the best date.
Yeah. I think that it really spoke to both of their personalities, and I love little shit like that. If you send me to a little moment with like trees and the first message she read was from her brother, I was gone. It was it for me. I was done. I clocked out.
It was very sweet.
I just couldn't stop. And then they each read the letters from their respective moms. Like, come on.
Yeah.
I just couldn't.
They had the best date as far as thoughtfulness.
Yeah. And I think that they're just really chilling right now in their relationship.
Yes.
It's nothing too serious. I feel like it's just speaks to more of like how dating goes in like the outside world, where they're like they're not in the stages of I love you. They're not in the stages of committing in that way, even though Janae's always just joking about being married, which I think she's so hilarious. And then secondly, I'm really torn because I feel like I have a tie for second, which would be Serena and Cordell and Leah and Miguel, because they were both so sweet for different reasons. And seeing Serena, which again we'll touch on later, being able to open up a little bit more to Cordell I can understand how being in the situations that she has been in before has made her really closed off with her emotions and not able to express them in a healthy way. So I think we saw a lot of growth in Serena.
Yeah.
Of course, Leah and Miguel, I love them so much. I can't explain it. I don't know what it is. I feel like they're so adorable. I don't know if it's just because of their youth and how like silly they can be together and how themselves they could be with one another.
Both, while they're all so silly and youthful, they're also both mature and smart.
Yeah, both really smart. I think they were the unexpected couple to come out as successful because we really didn't see Miguel expressing as much interest in Leah until later on. Which
you didn't really see much from Miguel, period, until later on.
Yeah.
He didn't really get that much airtime until he coupled up with Leah.
Yeah. It was like just before Casa, right? That he coupled up with her and then left.
A day or two before Casa, that recoupling right before.
I think it's a little bit of a, maybe it's because of that. It's like, because I think we got to know him in these last couple of weeks a lot more.
Yeah.
And I did not expect him to be the person that he is.
Yes.
I thought he was going to be really lame, fuck boy.
Like, very arrogant. Yeah. I mean, he's hot.
Yeah. Sexy as hell.
Arguably like one of the hottest guys of the whole season.
Definitely number one. Who would you put above Miguel?
I wouldn't put anyone above. I would put somebody tied.
Harrison?
No. I hate to admit it. You know
Robert.
Yes.
Attraction wise?
I can't. Yes, unfortunately.
It's okay. Forgive you. We get it.
His behavior and the way he carries himself has made him less attractive to me, but I think that he gets away with what he gets away with because he's so hot.
We talked about this. Pretty privilege.
If he was not as attractive, I don't think that people would be Rob-pologists.
Rob-pologists all over this.
There's a lot of Rob-pologists. Yeah, he like after he left the villa, he gained 300,000 followers.
Wow.
He's like up to 600, 700,000 followers now.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And then not last because I don't adore them. I think I do. Right. But last just because it's not necessarily a date that I would love. The parasailing, I'm like, that's cool.
That's what it is.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Sure.
It was the perfect date for them.
Yeah.
Did I think it was like the coolest date ever?
Yeah. And do I feel for Nicole? I actually learned more about Nicole in the finale than I think I did all season because I think that she finally got to the spot where she was just the most vulnerable she ever was. Mm-hmm. The whole season where she, I think, spoke up a lot about her previous relationships and how she was struggling and afraid, basically, had fear of telling Kendall that she loved him back. Mm-hmm. And then the thing that got me was that she thought that she ruined the date. And when Kendall pulled her for a conversation later on that evening, and she was like, oh, I thought that you were basically going to yell at me or whatever.
Yeah, you were going to hand my ass to me.
Yeah,
and
I was like, oh.
Sweetheart.
Yeah, I was like, oh.
Yeah.
That says a lot about who she dated in the past. And I feel for those women.
Yeah. There's a lot of Kendall haters. And I understand he's kind of cringe. I get it. I totally get the kind of guy he was. I personally think that maybe he was somebody who wasn't traditionally attractive or traditionally cool. Like he might have been not an ugly duckling, but he may have come into his own like later in his adult years. A late bloomer. Thank you. Maybe he just always felt kind of on the outside, which is why I think he did what he did with the boys at Casa. I think people really wrote Kendall off after that whole thing, which I get. What he did was kind of shady. I just don't really have any reason to think that he's not genuine. I think the entire time he's been 100% himself.
I think so. He's too corny not to be, y'all.
Exactly.
Why would you, if you're going to fake anything, why would you fake corny? He's a Cancer. I mean, I don't like how he stepped to Serena. Of course, we've been seeing all the things on socials about. She called him out on what he said at Casa, as she should have. We do know how Serena acts and says certain things, like she says them with her chest. So I get that maybe I probably rubbed Kendall the wrong way. But at the end of it, he understood that what he did was wrong and atoned for his actions the very next day with both her and Kaylor and made them breakfast and said, hey, that's not how I want to be represented. And I understand that he understands that he's on television, and I understand that like it could be very much him upholding this image. But again, I just don't think that anyone's going to pretend to be a cheese ball. Who's going to hold up this image of being like corny cheesy. No, I just think he's an emotional man. And when you're emotional, that means it's in every emotion. So when he's supporting, in air quotes, his boys in Casa, it's because he wants them to explore any and all options. He just wasn't doing that because he knew earlier on, and the fact that he was pretty much older than everybody, I think.
Yeah, he was the oldest guy.
Yeah.
Was he and Miguel? Are he and Miguel the same age, or is Kendall's a little older?
I think Kendall's a little older, and then I think it goes Kenny.
Oh.
Anyway, yeah, I agree. I don't think that if you're going to pretend to be somebody, it's going to be a clown.
Also, can we just talk about the fact that all of the men in the finale were all brown men? There was not a single white man in the finale.
The slow-mo got us.
I think for the first time ever.
For the first time ever. Yes.
Beautiful. Also, 3 water sign men.
It was a moment.
And an air sign.
It was a moment.
I think that's why I like the 3 of them so much. They're all so watery little babies.
I know.
I love them.
They're really hard on their sleeve. Don't subscribe to toxic masculinity at all. They're okay with talking about their feelings. I'm here for the newer generation of young gentlemen.
Yes.
To make it known. And to not feel threatened when a woman just tells you what she wants. That should not be a threatening conversation.
No. I was very impressed. Miguel completely surprised me, which that is like one of the takeaways that I'm going to take from this season of Love Island. Is it's very cliche, don't judge a book by its cover, but I really thought that Miguel was going to be completely different than who he ended up being.
Same.
And his intelligence, and then even when they were writing their letters to each other, he was helping the other guys write letters.
Yeah.
He was like, oh yeah, remember you said this when Nicole came in and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, why don't you talk about your first date with her? And then why don't you talk about the first time seeing her and all this? I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Very, very impressed because I think that he is a lot more intelligent than he lets on.
Yes.
And so I do like him for Leah so much because I think they can relate in that way.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the time, I'm sure Leah gets judged a lot based off of her looks and how beautiful she is and not her intelligence. So,
because she really, I'm so proud of her. I'm so proud of her because I think that after everything happened with Rob, it could have very easily spoiled the whole season for her. And she could have let that defeat her, and she could have let, I don't want to say her ugly side, but I mean, I think that we saw the other side of Leah for a little minute. I think that she reined it in.
Yeah.
But that could have tainted her entire experience.
Right.
And she could have gone out that way. And we probably would have all remembered her that way, which is fine. I think that regardless, we would have all loved her so much anyway because she is so authentic. But I'm just so proud of her for the way that she grew, the way that she took ownership of the things that she said. A lot of times.
Throughout the season.
I think that we all love Leah so much because we see ourselves in Leah. I think that a lot of women, you know, from 20s to 30s, whatever, have gone through that experience of being with somebody who you thought was it. And then they weren't completely transparent and truthful with you. And things got flipped around, and then you felt like the bad guy. And I mean, how many times has she apologized?
Right.
Or placed blame on herself? It's one thing, yes, apologize for the things that you said and the way that you went about it. She kept apologizing for that entire situation when, honey, like, it was not your fault the way that he reacted and blew up.
Yeah, it's like your third time apologizing for the same thing. And have you yet to receive an apology for how he behaved? Right. Why do we apologize for the same things over and over without having received an apology as well? Yes, take accountability. Atone for your actions, like how I said about Kendall.
Yeah.
But imagine if Serena and Kaylor held that against him for the remainder of the time that he was in the villa.
Right.
You see the difference? They accepted his apology and they moved on because they appreciated that. And it's like it just kept getting brought up like moment after moment, and it's like I think that clip that they used of Leah was so fresh after the Rob situation.
Oh yeah,
of course she was gonna say like cruel and mean things. Like she was angry and confused.
Tell me right now if a guy, take out the fact that they are on TV that can be globally streamed.
Yeah.
Think of this in your daily life. You're talking to a guy. You're getting along so well. He's telling you, you have absolutely nothing to worry about. We get along so well. We share the same brain cell, blah, 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 blah. He meets a girl and immediately switches up and kind of goes silent on you and isn't very truthful or forthcoming with you. and then immediately gets with this other girl. It's different because it's like we're talking about it in a reality show sense, and also the fact that time is a lot shorter and things go very quickly. So they were together, what, a week? But I'm thinking like outside world. You're talking to someone, you're dating, you get really close, you're physically intimate, and he meets a girl, and all of a sudden that day it's like complete switch up. I think any of us, maybe not to that severity, but I think any of us would have reacted that way. I think if I was in that kind of situation, I probably would have called you and said some of the same shit she said about Rob.
Of course.
Being in the moment.
Yeah, except the cameras were just there recording her.
Exactly.
And she doesn't really care. Leah doesn't really care being seen at her worst.
No, which I think is really beautiful.
I think it's admirable because she's like, yeah, I'm going to fuck up. I'm 24 years old. She said herself, she's like, I'm leaving here. I'm going straight to therapy. I think she understands where she's at in her mental space and is trying to understand why she is attracted to toxicity in some ways. And I think that's a perfect check-in with yourself. You don't have to beat yourself up about it. She doesn't have to end her experience in the villa early because of those actions, but it's just like, okay, that happened. I get it. I'm going to learn from this. I'm going to move forward, and I'm going to understand how to move differently the next time. Another thing I really appreciate about Miguel, because that made him a little bit apprehensive, because he was like, my parents are divorced. I heard them arguing all the time. Right. This is not the type of person that I'm used to having around me. But I understand what she went through that made her angry, and I have yet to see that side of her with me. So it's like he definitely extended her a lot of patience and a lot of understanding.
Yeah, he could have easily been like, that's a red flag for me. I'm triggered, but this is over. This is done. I'm on to the next, because you know that he can get anyone. Like, I'm on to the next girl. Bye. But the fact that he still saw it through. And I think that it speaks volumes that all of the guys that Leah was coupled up with, no matter how things ended or what happened in their time together, every single one of them had said, but she's such a great person.
Right.
Her character just speaks volumes way louder than her actions and her words. And I think that that's so beautiful. And I think that's something that, if anything comes out of this experience, she's so proud of herself for that.
Sure.
And I can honestly get emotional over the fact that she's so loved. Yeah. And she went in there. I had thought that she went in there with 13,000 followers. Somebody on Reddit corrected me and said that before episode 1, when they announced the cast, she had 6,000 followers, you guys.
Wow.
6,000. She has over 1 million followers today.
Yeah. I think people can appreciate her realness. I think people can appreciate her growth. People can appreciate her not really taking herself too seriously. I think that she just rolls with it. I think that this was not the finale, but the episode prior where Sayonara, Rob, and Aaron, you can ride off into the sunset together, where they had that conversation, her and Rob, and it was such a beautiful moment of closure. And all they did was speak kind things to one another. And I thought, as much as we can acknowledge it's TV, yes, we get that. But they don't have to do those things.
No.
Sure, are some things encouraged by the producers? Absolutely. I get that part. But it's like they don't have to say the things that they say. They're not force feeding them lines. There are some things that I think they decide to do on their own. And you can tell, I think, when something's genuine versus when something is a script.
Yes.
So I loved that moment between the two of them. I think it was what they both needed. Yeah. And I'm so glad that Leah grew from the situation and chose Miguel, even though she was being encouraged to explore Rob as an option again. She's like, nah.
And that too.
Yeah.
She could have easily folded. Her two best friends are in there saying, are you sure, girl? Are you sure? All of America is like, are you sure? Are you sure? People with huge platforms. Nick Vile is sitting here like, I think Rob's great. I think that they should get back together. People were rooting for them to get back together. And I think the producers did everything in their power to get that to happen, because people love that. Yeah. People love a friends to lovers to enemies to lovers trope.
Oh, yeah.
And that was exactly them. But to me, what was more beautiful is that they were able to end as friends.
Yes. They knew what was best for them individually, and it was for them to not be together romantically.
And despite the pressure, they both stuck to their guns, and Rob said, no, she's a really good friend, and Leah said, no, she's a really good friend.
Yeah.
But there's a side-by-side post where first when he couples up with Andrea and she says fuck you and he like gives her that face, and then the next one when he gets voted out and he's standing next to Cassie and Leah's jaw's on the floor and he's like, I'm okay, it's fine.
Yeah.
That's such a great illustration.
Yeah.
You came so far. That was only
Right.
what, 4 weeks ago that
Right.
happened.
Right.
And you're now able to do the same thing and you're able to root each other on as friends. It's just,
Yeah.
I could honestly cry just over just that.
Yeah.
Leah, I absolutely love you.
Yes.
I wish that
Come on the pod.
that's I was just gonna say, bitch. I was like, I wish our platform was bigger so that you'd come on our podcast, but I think you're gonna be on Call Her Daddy. And that's okay. Have so much fun. I'm so excited.
I get it.
Yeah, I'm so excited to see what she does after this because I think
can-
that the sky's the limit.
You can call me mommy. That'll be ours.
Yeah.
That'll be ours. Anything to get Leah on. If I could get the 3 of them.
Ugh.
Leah, Serena, and Janae, please.
That'd be gorgeous.
Yeah. So I think that, yeah, as far as the finale is concerned, that's really all that was. That it was
Yeah.
the dates, the I love yous, the tears.
We didn't even say this yet, that Cordell and Serena won.
Congratulations, Serena and Cordell, for winning 2024 season of Love Island USA. You know, I wasn't sure because, like we just talked about Leah for the past freaking 15 minutes. She has such a huge following. However, people love an OG couple.
They do.
On top of the OG couple both being black.
Yes.
The way
Yes.
that I've seen different communities watching this season of Love Island that I've never seen before. It's like I've not watched every single season of Love Island USA.
Yeah.
Definitely not UK. But I've not ever seen so many different communities rally behind the contestants on a reality show. I just haven't. I really am wondering about the streaming numbers. Like, I want to know the ratings. I want to know who was watching from where. I want to know what ethnicities were watching for the first time ever this season.
Right. Show me the numbers.
Show me the numbers.
Show me the numbers, Peacock. Yeah.
So many things happened this season that were so specific to Black and brown culture.
Yeah.
We talked about how there were more Black people casted on this season, I think, than
Ever. You guys, there wasn't a
We
single.
had Koi, we had Hakeem, the boys from Casa.
You guys,
several from Casa.
there were more minorities this season
Mm-hmm.
than I've ever seen in a single
It's very
season of
true.
Love Island ever. And the fact that the entire final 8, I know that Leah's Persian and I know that Nicole is half Filipino.
Yeah.
But still, the amount of representation on this season is like something that we should be proud of, because not only did we have a cast that reflected us so heavily, but we also voted amazing people into the final 4 and the most diverse group of people into the final 4.
The most
couples.
diverse group of final 4 couples I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And we had like an equal amount of joy for all of them to make it
Yes.
there. Whereas seasons past,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, I have a favorite and I really hope they win. And they usually do. But the others, like, you're neutral or you don't like them at all.
Yeah.
But for this one, it really felt so different. And maybe that's why we were crying. It was because it's like, it's not that we're crying over these people falling in love. Obviously, we're girls.
Yeah.
We're sensitive. We're going to cry over love. Duh. But maybe we were crying or we were emotional over something like on a deeper level. It's
Yes.
like, gosh, I'm like almost seeing our communities and I'm seeing myself up there. Like
Yeah.
we can experience this too. It's not just left to the Caucasians.
It feels like something shifted
Uh-huh.
big time.
Really. It really did. It's like for Aaron and Kaylor to also be an OG and they weren't even in the final 4 says a lot, y'all. They were an OG just like Serena and Cordell were.
Yeah.
But I think people were so over it. And I think people saw Aaron's true colors from the beginning. He showed her who he was a lot. And I know that Cordell kind of did the same. I think that they just reacted differently.
Completely. They went about things in completely opposite ways. And that's the kicker.
Yeah.
I'm proud of America, honestly. It's the first time that I've watched a season and everything turned out the way that it was. It felt like justice.
Yeah.
The people that didn't move correctly were held accountable. People who maybe they made a mistake and they learned from it, like Leah, or maybe they, like Janae, Another person I'm so proud of. She kept herself at the same level of integrity from day 1 to day 36. She was the same girl.
Yeah.
And even though she had her moments where she felt insecure, which rightfully so, I can't imagine. I mean, I can, from my own experience, think of times where I was the only person of color in a room, or maybe I was the only one of my friends not being approached by guys on a night out or whatever. And it's like you feel insecure about that. Colorism exists, and I will never deny the privileges that I have being a lighter skinned Black woman. With somebody of her deep complexion, I will never imagine the experiences that she goes through, and she's expressed not feeling chosen and feeling overlooked. She, in my opinion, I mean, all of the girls were so gorgeous. I can't like put one over the other, but she kind of reminds me of SZA. That dream fantasy girl that you're like, absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
Inside and out. And so I'm sitting here the whole season like, are these guys blind?
Yeah.
Because for so long, she just kept getting passed up and passed up and passed up.
Yeah.
And then her redemption was having Kenny come in. And did he falter a little bit? Yes. I don't think he ever did anything in Casa, though, to my knowledge, that was like questionable. I think that
no, it was just that one kiss, and it wasn't even until the last day.
Yeah, I think that he maybe got paranoid and worried that she would bring somebody back because she's amazing. Look at her.
Yeah. So maybe that spoke more to how highly he thought of her. Like, I know that all the guys that came in for Casa at the OG villa are going to be fawning over her the way that I do. And she did have quite a few boys who she was talking to, but I think she ended up really thinking to herself how much she cared for Kenny and how much he talked about wanting to explore things with her, even though it was so new by the time they went into Casa. So yeah, I think that, especially seeing how the other boys were moving, I would get nervous too. I'd be like, oh, well, if Aaron's moving this way, I wonder what's happening over there.
And that's by design. They set up Casa to be like that because they want you to feel paranoid. They want you to make that choice because that makes for good TV.
Right.
For you to, in a panicked moment, pick somebody else, bring somebody else back, and then be like, oh shit, I should have just stuck with my original person. Yeah. But I don't think I've ever watched a season of Love Island where I really felt like everything was exactly the way that it should be.
That's very true. You always have those moments where like people stay in the villa when they're not supposed to stay in the villa, or they're causing this hurt, or they're causing that person to feel upset. Aaron and Rob went home at the perfect time. It was 1 week too late, to be honest with you.
But they went out together, and honestly, they probably were tickled by that.
Oh, they love each other very much.
I really appreciate that, unlike other reality shows, like The Bachelor, like Love is Blind, they kind of put people into tropes. Like, you're going to be the dramatic one. You're going to be the villain. You're, XYZ. I think that what I love about Love Island is that they let people be multidimensional because that's how we are. Yeah. There's not one side to everybody. Right. Like, they try to put Rob into this bad boy mysterious. I'm like, he's not, though. As we can see, he's still a mystery. Yeah. Because he's so, like all of us, we're all so complex. Yeah. And we all have highs and lows and different things. Like, we saw him come out. And we both asked ourselves, is Rob okay? Because on that last after sun, he just looked not fully present. No. And it made me sad. As much as, like, I have issues with the way he's handled himself, it makes me sad. And I really hope that, I think that he said it, like, he's grown a lot from this experience. I really hope that he continues to seek therapy and really soul search and ask those tough questions of himself. I would love to see a redemption arc for Rob.
Me too. I would love to see that growth. He has so much time. He's like barely 25. And it said a lot. We knew exactly what was going on when he explained how his parents got divorced, but that it, quote, didn't bother him. Yeah. I'm like, okay.
I dated one of those.
It's not the truth. No. And that's okay. That's okay. Maybe did it not trigger your emotions as much as your siblings? Or were you just not as emotional as you thought you would be, and then that just equates to you being fine? Right. No, also not true. Things suppress, things get bottled up, things get pushed down until something triggers you, and all that hurt and all that sadness gets manifested into different things, like pencil diving into the pool and hiding under the walkway. You can't tell me that things don't bother you, sir.
And it also manifests in your relationship with your parents and how you saw your parents interact and how you saw your dad as a man treat your mother. also bleeds into how you view women and how you treat women. And as we have
Definitely.
seen, women were transactional for him. He was all about them. He was understanding, oh, I don't care about body count. I'm so like open-minded, blah, blah, blah. And then he would get what he wanted, which was his dick rubbed. And then all of a sudden the next day, I'm just really not feeling you anymore.
Yeah. Disposable.
You're saying one thing and then your actions show something else. And while you may have good intentions, I think subconsciously you're living out these belief systems that you hold inside.
Yeah. You have to understand what made you arrive at this point after being physical with a girl who was vulnerable enough to do that with you.
Right. And it's all of us. Do you not think that I have residual issues because of my birth dad? I know that a lot of the reason why I view men in a negative light is because my dad literally up and left me, my mom.
Right.
And I've had to consciously reframe. And it's what makes me... oh my gosh, I'm not going to cry right now.
You want to cry?
What the fuck? What made me so emotional about all the men that made it to the final was that they all were such genuinely great guys. And it reminded me of, I have to remind myself that guys like this exist.
Yeah, we can be hopeful.
If I think that every single guy in the world is somebody who fucked me over or a horrible, bad intentioned, I'm only going to keep attracting those kinds of guys. And I'm going to see every single guy, like you said, that I react with in the future as you're a bad person, so prove to me that you're good. Instead of, I'm going to believe you're a good person until you show me differently.
Yeah, it's hard, especially if it's been situation after situation, person after person. You did do that, and you're like, okay, I'm going to go into it with an open mind. I'm going into it with a clean slate. I'm not taking any extra baggage from the last person. But if you've really not done the work and you've really not rewired your brain, or you've not worked on self-love enough, then no matter what, those subconscious ideas will continue to arise. You will find yourself in that same spot where you're like, see, this is exactly what I knew you would do. This is exactly how I thought you would act. Instead of saying, oop, let me stop right there, check myself, and understand I've not done enough work on myself. I've not looked inward enough to understand where I've gone wrong with reframing, rewiring. Yeah, it's tough, and it just requires, again, time and patience. Is time and patience the theme of 2024? Probably.
I mean, look at Nicole. That same kind of situation.
Right. She said, I don't want my past experiences to affect the relationship that I have with Kendall, because all Kendall has shown me is that he is respectful and understanding and appreciative of me, and he wears his heart on his sleeve. So it's like, I don't think that she was forced into saying I love you back to him. I think that she decided for herself, because it wasn't right away, obviously. She decided for herself at the very end to choose vulnerability with him, because that's what he was giving to her, and she just wanted to reciprocate it. And I think that it probably meant more to her than it did to him, because I think that was probably a huge stepping stone for her. She made me cry so much, y'all. I don't know what. I do know what it is, but she's so cute. This rhetoric that they're boring is like, that is life. If you've not ever dated in real life, in your late 20s, early 30s, we are boring as fuck. That is a real relationship.
You want that.
Yeah.
Honestly, all of the highs and lows and the extreme emotions.
The Aaron and Kaylor is not what, that is not realistic.
The older that you get, or maybe not even older, but the more relationships that you were in that were wrong for you, you start to realize that what is meant for you is not the butterflies, because we often say that there's no spark, there's no butterflies. That is your nervous system telling you something. You want the person that makes you feel safe, and you want peace. And to me, what Kendall and Nicole are is that mature couple that they just are in their peace era. We're here for each other. We love the journey that we've had.
We're going to talk things through when there's a conflict. He's like, I don't love that you're talking to Miguel, but I can't tell you what to do. But he also expressed that he was not happy with it, and that's okay too. He's not going to be like, oh yeah, go for it. I'm so happy for you.
No, he cares about her.
Yeah.
And that's realistic.
It's very realistic. I would do the same thing if it was a guy wanting to talk to multiple women and I felt a deep connection with a man. A lot of women do act that way.
It was the complete inverse of what happened with Rob and Leah. Kendall gave Nicole what Rob could not give Leah. Or did not. Yeah.
So true.
So I think that I'm going back to the winners. Sorry, we are wormholing. But while sometimes I feel like picking the couple that's been there together since day one can sometimes be the boring choice, I'm happy for them because I'm so happy to see Black love the way that it was depicted through them. And I understand that not all stories are linear. And I think that, like you said, Serena had maybe a more subtle coming of age than some of the other Islanders because I think she's a little bit more introspective. I mean, she had a breakdown, but I don't think she needed to have this huge moment in order to really come to herself and be like, okay, am I being too hard on this man? What is it that I really want? I think that that's maybe what was confusing for me as a viewer is that she was one way when she was upset, and then maybe because of the editing, it seemed like the next day, all of a sudden, things were fine. So it was kind of confusing to me as a viewer because I was like, you were saying this and you were saying these things with your chest and you were saying not to fuck with you and that you weren't going to put it up with it. And then the next day, you're closing it off with him.
Yeah, I do wonder like how much actual real time passes in between us seeing one reaction versus the next. Is it how it seems, which is sometimes seems like it's 5 minutes, especially with Aaron and Kaylor specifically. It's like she would say one thing like literally just before he was gonna ask her to be his girlfriend. She was like, I don't know if I can be like somebody's girlfriend, and you're like, I'll wait till the outside. And 3 seconds later, per the editing, she says yes. Girl, did we not just hear you say that you were not going to be someone's girlfriend in the villa? I don't know when the conversations are happening. So I get what you're saying because it can feel pretty sudden where it's like you just talked all this shit and you were like saying that you were going to do this and do that and no man's going to treat me like this and this is not going to happen at all. And then he says, okay, I'm done with Dea. Yeah. Right? And I've decided for myself. And you're like, okay. Which Serena really didn't pull a Kaylor. No. She was like, she definitely had her reservations and it did take her some time, but it definitely took her less time than I think what she led on with her reactions. Yes. Because her reactions were big and rightfully so. He did a lot.
Yeah. I'm just really happy that we live in a time where people can experience the level of camaraderie that Cordell and Serena had and the way that they took care of each other. Her doing his hair is something that's made burned into my memory forever. The fact that we got to have that moment and see it on television is huge. Right. And the fact that now people of all these different cultures can now see that and understand it may to you seem like not that big of a deal. To the Black community, that's a big deal. Because it's like not our hair. I know. Fuck, Aaron, dude,
bro. 3 days ago, Aaron. It's true. It's like, oh, hair is so trivial, but it's not to the Black community. My daughter is half Black. Her hair, I take it very seriously. Her hair wash day, I take very seriously. It is not something to be just seen as another part of your body. Right. It's just not that. It holds a lot of history. It holds a lot of weight. And so, like you said, to see that on national television, NBC style, that was definitely a moment. And you can easily look past it as like, oh, he's just doing his hair. What other woman was doing their man's hair? Conditioning it, brushing it out. You know what I mean?
It's an act of love.
Yeah. That was a special moment.
It for really sure. Was.
I think that is such a huge part of why they won. I think people were rooting for their relationship so much because of how it spoke to just real life shit. I think it just spoke to, yes, you're going to start to get to know someone and they might fuck up, whoever it is. And it just matters how you handle yourself after the fuck up. Are you going to take accountability? Are you going to apologize? How are you going to atone for the behavior that made your partner upset? It's very simple.
That's a good point. I think that maybe they had the most relatable journey as far as it's real life. Things like that happen in relationships.
And then to be honest with you, it's like I would love if Janae and Kenny had won, but I still think they were too fresh.
It was,
And so were Miguel and Leah. They were even more fresh than Kenny and Janae, even though it seemed like they pretty much got together at the same time.
Didn't they?
Yeah, but I think that Miguel and Leah's relationship romantically is progressing a lot slower. Whereas Janae and Kenny are like, I'm all about it.
I think that they're approaching it differently. I think that Miguel and Leah, their foundation is that they're very good friends. Like she said, he's my best friend in here. Whereas Janae and Kenny are more romance focused.
Yeah.
Which there's no right or wrong to either.
No.
It just depends how you. Yeah.
I think for Janae, she is romance. That girl's a Sagittarius. She's a lover girl. And then paired up with a water sign.
Yeah.
That makes sense that he's kind of the same way. Which is interesting because it's like they're both fire and water. Both couples. But they are kind of navigating their relationship in a very different way.
You're right.
Yeah.
I think that, like I said before, I just felt so seen by Janae's experience that I just really connected with her.
Yeah. She was so sweet.
She was.
I mean, she walked in there with like sparkle and shine.
Yeah.
There was no denying it. That's why they were my favorite date because all the notes that they were sharing with her family members, I was like, oh, a lot of America sees what her family sees in her. So I thought it was so sweet.
She's someone that I admire so much. I'm like, it kind of reminded me coming out of my why am I so doom and gloom about life, looking at Janae and being like, I want people to see me that way. I want people to see my light. And I want people to see that no matter in what situation, I was able to have a good attitude about it. And I still was myself and I still carried myself with integrity. Yeah. So she's like a good reminder to me of life's not that serious. Just have fucking fun, bitch.
And she was still able to express her emotions freely. Yeah. She was still able to say how she felt while trying to maintain her positivity and her like positive outlook on life. That doesn't mean it doesn't get difficult for her, I'm sure. It's a hard thing to do. Trust.
Oh, yeah. Maybe I'm just so fucked up because I have a lot going out in my chart. I'm like the always optimistic Sagittarius mixed with the storms of being a Cancer and the melodrama of being a Taurus.
For me, I think a lot of the time I can come off as like a lot more stoic because my Aquarius moon. And then bitches, I recently realized I'm at the 0 degree for my rising sign. So I might be a Capricorn rising instead of a Sagittarius rising. And if I'm Capricorn sun, Capricorn rising, Aquarius moon, bitch.
That's a lot. I don't know. I refuse to believe that.
I don't know.
How can you be at the 0 degree? You know?
No. I just...
0 is 0.
0 is 0. I don't know. Do I like verify my time? I'm pretty sure it's 5:45 a.m.
Really?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I'm 5:45 or 5:40. I can't remember because my brother is also 5:40 something. Oh. So one of us is 40, one of us is 45.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And it was raining.
Go off March for both of you?
For both of us.
Cute.
I was trying to look up based on the TikToks that you sent me under what moon I was born, and I can't figure it out.
Oh, yeah. You have to look up the moon almanac.
Okay. I'll be Googling that later.
I was born on a full moon.
I was born on a Wednesday.
Really?
Yeah. Wednesday is good. It's like in the middle, you know?
Yeah. I don't remember what day.
I'm not over here. I'm not over there. I'm like right in the middle.
I'm the hump.
I am the hump.
Hump day.
Oh, yeah, we can go dry humping in the bed.
Get some.
Yeah.
That was hilarious.
Oh, hilarious. But I think we can speak to how deep the friendships got this season and how special they became because it was like the girls rallying behind each other, one drama to the next drama.
They were getting fucking pelted by these little boys.
It really was.
It was
a tough watch.
It was one after another, like pummeled.
From the beginning, really.
Tomato.
Like you said, it was like a week with Rob and Leah being together, and that was pretty much the catalyst for all of it. It was like indicative of how the season was gonna go.
It kind of was.
All you have to do is rewind to the episode where we talk about gaslighting. All that stuff was already happening so early into the season, and we're like, okay, I guess this is what's happening now. I find it so interesting how it's like girls don't really have to know each other to have their back. They barely knew each other, and it didn't really matter because when one girl gets done wrong by an emotionally immature man, that's it. That's all the relation I need to you, right? That's all the relatability I need to have with you. I don't have to be your best friend to have your back.
Because we all know what that feels like. Whether it was from a family member or someone we dated or a friend, like we all know what it feels like to be treated wrong by a man who refuses to heal.
Put that on a sweatshirt and sell it. Period. Hello.
I'm just being real.
Yeah, it's true.
But I think that the friendships are what makes it differently, because in any other reality TV show, the girls are at each other's throats. The girls are cussing each other out. The girls are seeing each other as competition.
Yeah.
What I find so special about Love Island, I can't really remember a lot of times where women were horrible to each other on that show.
No, I think I remember telling you at the very beginning of me starting Love Island and us talking about it. I'm like, I love this show because it feels like the producers don't intentionally try to pit the women against each other for TV. They know that they can get good TV from other things other than women just fighting all the time. Like, it's why I can't stand The Bachelor and The Bachelorette and all these different things. I can't. It's not for me. We've talked about it before. We don't have to talk about it again. But I just can't. I can't stand the bickering. I can't stand the back and forth. I just don't feel like that's realistic.
Even in this new show we're watching, Undercover Love, which you guys... If
oh
you
my
need
God.
something that's going to heal the post-Love Island depression.
Yes, because we already had it before Love Island was over.
Yeah. Watch Love Undercover, but it is very, at least in these recent episodes, is getting very catty. Mm-hmm. And it just disappoints me. I'm like, ladies, we've evolved this far. Yeah. And we're still getting on television, treating each other badly.
So it's funny because they did a spot for it on After Sun, talking about how, oh, don't worry, like, we've got you. There's a new show coming out, blah, blah, blah. Tell me why me and this bitch were already on episode 3. Yeah. Like, we had already started it, not knowing that I already knew.
We let that shit autoplay immediately. Yeah. We're like, what's this? Soccer players? Hot guys? Women don't know that they're famous and rich? Cool.
Play.
I'm in.
Play it. A penthouse? Play it. Yeah, it was good from the beginning, but it's like they keep bringing new women in. And it's almost like if you were to have 5 new bombshells every 3 days in the villa. Literally. In a way.
It's almost a little too much.
It is a lot. It's hard to keep track. We don't know who is who. There's 3 Sophies and 3 Jackies. Like, it's getting to the point where I'm like, I'm not sure I'll continue. It's like, I started it, so I might as well finish. But
I want to know what happens. But really, I only like 2 of the guys out of 5. Because the other 3 are really showing me who they are. But I digress.
Yeah. We're not talking about Love Undercover. We could.
No, we really could.
We could.
I mean... We all know. We all got them this far. PPG.
Yes.
We're here for them.
The trio.
I think...
The trio of trios.
From day one, they were climbing up on the goddamn balcony. Remember? That was like episode 1 or 2. They were climbing up on the balcony watching somebody. But it was Janae, Leah, and Serena.
Yes.
Who were they watching?
Who were they spying on?
Was it Liv? It was Liv. She was the first bombshell.
It was Liv. They were trying to listen to her and Rob.
Mm-hmm. So from day one, and I think that, like their family members were even telling them, it's really beautiful that they stuck together so well. And it's pure, genuine female friendship in its finest form. Right.
Because even through what Rob was trying to start up in the middle, where he was like, I want to know what really happened. Who really sent Andrea home? That bitch forgot about Andrea like 3 seconds after.
And notice who he went to talk to. Liv and Kaylor.
Yeah. He noticed that there was a closeness between certain girls versus other girls, which is totally fine. Not everyone's going to vibe on the same level. No. Will you be cordial? Will you be friends? Sure, 100%. But it's like you find close friendships and you stick with them. I get that part. So he chose very, very specific people who he knew he could get information out of because...
And who he knew he could wind up.
Yeah, especially Liv.
Because like, if he would have done the same thing to Serena and Janae, they would have been like,
Rob, we don't know what you're talking about. That's not what happened. Because it's not what happened.
No.
That's what the kicker was. Leah was trying so hard to say, yes, did I have a role in sending her home? Obviously, because I had to choose who to send home, like the rest of y'all did. But Liv took it to the next level. So it's like, as much as Leah and Liv, I think, tried to get along, I don't really see a lasting friendship there because Liv too easily threw Leah under the bus with a boy who she knew she had a past with and a history with, instead of double checking with Leah first. Yeah. Or instead of telling Rob, you know what the mature thing would have been for those 2 girls to do, the blondies, would have been to look at Rob in his face and say, you know what? The decision was made. If you have a question about what Leah said or did, you need to go ask Leah. And if you don't believe her, then that's it. But I'm not going to sit here and give you this narrative that you want to hear just to make you feel better. If you cared about Andrea that much, you would not even be here right now. He should have gone home. You sent in 3 home. And you're still here in your overalls, bitch. Now what? Period.
Yeah. But I think
the way he made it a big deal was just unnecessary. And the girls ate that shit up, which was embarrassing.
Completely embarrassing. But yeah, I think that what was different with PPG is just the level of support, unwavering support. And
through everything, through every person's individual situation. Serena falling apart from Cordell, questioning her decision making, and basically every worst nightmare that she had coming true, that she looked dumb. Leah with her mouth sometimes, and how Rob treated her. Janae with her insecurities. Like, they all were there for each other.
And something that I brought up when we were watching the show is that they each possess what the other one lacks. So Serena's always the voice of reason. She's always coming in with the wisdom. She's always checking the other girls with them. She's like, I don't think you handled that right. I don't think you're looking at the situation right. Like, I don't think you're being honest with yourself, girl.
Yeah.
In a very loving way, though. It was never judgmental.
Right.
And that's the difference. Somebody that I really, really love and respect, Danielle Bayer-Jackson, talks about female friendships. Listen to her podcast, Front Forward. It's really, really good. Some nuggets of wisdom. But she talks about the difference between unwavering support and support or advice out of judgment. And how easy would it have been for any of those girls in any of those situations. Serena getting back together with Cordell, the whole Rob and Leah of it all. Leah basically taking Janae's man and coupling up with Connor just to get. I really feel like that was a rebound situation for Leah.
Yeah, of course.
And to save her ass. But it's like, how easily could they have just given each other fake support out of, well, this is what I would have done, or this is what I want you to do, so I'm going to give you advice that's going to scoot you in the direction of what I think you should do.
Yeah.
Because that's what's going to benefit me most.
Right. It's low-key manipulation.
Yes.
Disguised as supporter advice.
Yes.
It's like, I'm going to go over here and give this girl some sisterly advice, but it ends up being something that will benefit you in the long term and is kind of just sabotaging the girl that you're talking to, who's supposed to be your friend.
Or you're projecting out of your own insecurity. You want to be chosen, or you're upset that you're not getting attention from the guys, or you actually liked that guy, so you're going to tell your friend, like, oh no, I think that you should move on because I want that person's attention.
Right.
It could have so easily turned into that.
Instead of it being like having the best intentions, purely like pure intentions in your heart of hearts, say, hey, whatever happens is meant to happen, and I'm not going to try to skew this in any which direction for selfish purposes. Because Janae could have easily, and Janae had her moments, for sure. Janae had her moments where it's like Leah would walk away and she would say some things. Janae was hurt. And that makes sense because basically Leah kind of took whatever Connor was telling her at the beginning, which was kind of chicken shit to begin with, because Connor never really told Janae that he expressed any type of interest in Leah until she was single and not in a relationship with Rob anymore.
That whole thing was...
That was it was very messy. And so I think that...
He needed to take accountability for that, and he never did.
No.
Instead, it was always... Yeah. He always had something bad to say about Janae.
Yeah. When he said this decision was easy, I said, oh, you're actually an asshole. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. You should never say that, regardless of the past relationship you were in. And Janae never deserved that to begin with. Did she say some off-color things? Sometimes, but it's just uncalled for. He should have never said it, period. No. So, yeah, I think that whole situation could have been blown out of proportion, where Janae went on a hate train and made the whole villa hate Leah, because that could have been done very easily since Rob was already conductor. You know?
She had that conversation with Rob. Janae did. I was honestly worried that that's what it was turning into. Yeah. It felt like, I'm going to turn Rob back on to Leah so that she doesn't come after my man. Yeah. At the end of the day, like you said, everything happened for a reason. Yeah. But I think, like what Danielle Bayer-Jackson outlines in her book and on her podcast, is support has a lot of key factors. One of those is listening to each other. The other is, if you have a negative or an unhelpful opinion, keeping that to yourself. But how can you continue to support somebody, even if it's not something that you would have done, a person that you would have chosen, a scenario you would have put yourself in, XYZ. And then showing up for each other, like we said with Serena, and having that brutal honesty.
Which is tough because it requires you looking inward instead of feeling upset that your friend is telling you something. So you have to check yourself. If someone is telling you something and it's kind of hard to hear, you should probably take a step back and be like, okay, that is really hard to hear, but like, how much does my friend care about me to be able to sit my ass down and tell me that? It's almost as if Christina and I were each dating people that either of us maybe didn't agree with. I'm dating someone she doesn't agree with I should be dating. Maybe they're not treating me well. Maybe they're not treating her well and I can't see it, you know? And she brings that to my attention and I dismiss it and think that she's jealous, or I think that she's whatever, fill in the blank, right? I'm at risk of losing a deep friendship over listening to someone who's being vulnerable with me and sharing with me something that obviously matters to her very much, or she would have never brought it up to begin with. So it's like understanding the difference between judgment, unsolicited advice, and the actual caring conversation. It all depends on how things are being said and how things get brought up, right?
And I think another really important thing that the Powerpuff Girls also exemplified is like letting each other have your journey and learn the lesson. I can sit here and lovingly say, maybe you should look at the situation again. I don't know. I'm like getting a weird feeling from it, or these are the things that I'm seeing that are concerning to me. But until you see it for yourself,
right,
I can be there for you and I can make you aware of it.
Yeah.
But it's also not holding it against the person when they don't listen to you. Because
so true.
We're all on different timelines and different journeys. If I sat here and was like, girl, you should have listened to me and you should have not given that man the time of day.
Yeah.
What does that do? It's just
Right.
putting more shame on this person that you supposedly love and care about.
Right. Shame on top of how they're already feeling. It's like if Liv were to do it to Kaylor, because Liv does not like Aaron at all.
No. And she has every right to not.
But it's like if every conversation that Liv has with Kaylor is, you shouldn't be dating him and this and this and this and look what he did to you and look at that, and just constant judgment and shame, then who is Kaylor going to choose, right?
Aaron,
it's like,
you're going to push that person away.
I think one thing that Liv said on her way out was like she has learned that she doesn't have to fight everybody's battles for them. And I was like, growth.
Yes. Yeah.
I love that for these young women, because it seems like more often than not, we're seeing patterns of change even in just 6 short weeks. And I just love that for people in general, but women specifically, especially since it does focus so heavily on friendships. I know it's Love Island, but more often than not, you see this huge friend group come out of Love Island, because no one can experience that same situation except for the people that were in the villa with you the whole time.
I think it does happen to an extent every season. I think that this season really broke the mold.
Yeah.
And I think that this season is genuine in the fact that they are going to stay friends and stay in contact after.
Yeah. We had talked about a spinoff.
Oh,
we don't know how it could happen. We don't know who's going to be there. We don't know what city it could be in. We don't know what the premise will be. But someone brought up on social media like a Jersey Shore for the final.
Oh, I thought that was your idea.
No, I saw it on like, I wish.
I was like, she's a genius.
I wish.
I'm like, Jersey Shore Family Vacation, but with Love Island. Perfect.
Someone said a spinoff, and I think someone in the comments mentioned, I wish it was my idea. Are you kidding? They said it would be this generation's Jersey Shore.
It's where every summer, every season, they all get back together again.
Yeah.
This is what producers, this is what I would love. I would love the final 8, right? They're the main characters, but then you bring others in and they pop in.
Sure.
Periodically. I would love it if Aaron and Kaylor were not invited, but I don't think that that would happen, realistically.
Not if they're together.
They bring the drama. Same with Rob. As much as I feel like, why would Rob be invited? It's like, well, why wouldn't he? The producers made him the main character. Also, we kind of did too. America kind of did really quick.
Yeah.
It was literally episode 3 and everyone's like, Rob and Leah for the win. Crazy.
Yeah, people chose. Yeah.
Crazy.
People go in.
Me.
People go in. Yeah. It's like you see who's going to be the OG, and as a pattern, every single season, like we talked about earlier, most oftentimes the OG couple's gonna get chosen over the non-OG couple.
Oh yeah.
At some point, America's choosing which OG couple they love the best.
I was listening to, I think it was Via Files, and they were talking about even if Rob and Leah would have coupled up at the last moment, they think that they still would have won.
Really?
And honestly, they might have.
Yeah.
Because people love that. You bitches are toxic. That's what it is. And
It's
we
me,
all are.
I'm you bitches.
Did I have a
I am
little
you bitches.
tiny piece inside of me that was like, ugh.
It was the devil on my shoulder, dude. When he brought her out to the dock before he left.
I know.
And he was like, let's just run away together. And she was like, Rob, let's go.
It
They're
was-
so fucking hilarious. That's what I just love about Leah. She's so funny. And it's easy for her. It's easy for her to be funny.
Yeah.
But
She's
yeah,
so unserious.
it was me too. I just didn't want to admit it. Where they were like talking outside the makeup room. And I was like, is this my moment? Is this what I think it is? I know. I'm toxic too.
Yeah.
I don't know what it
I'm
is.
just like you.
It's resolution.
Yeah.
People love that resolution. It's like, oh, they resolved all their problems. Everything is perfect in the world. Everything's fine. Everything's going to be okay.
They chose each other.
They chose each other.
Yeah.
I just loved it. I am a Love Island stan through and through, especially for this season. I mean, I'm telling you guys, I'm not blubbered for a reality show ever in my life the way that I just blubbered on that couch in my living room. Okay?
I can attest. She do be crying.
I do be crying. Look.
She
Crunch.
was wringing the tears out of her scrunchie.
And it was good. We had like such good Greek food. And it was such a good moment. It was a good night. I am sad now. It's like having post-concert depression.
But we do have August 9th or 19th? August 19th.
It's like a month.
Which is kind of nice. Because they can get back into normal life. They're going to meet each other's friends and family.
And it gives them time to either be together or not be together.
It's good.
So who's going to be
It's
together?
Like, it's like 90 Day Fiancé. That's how it feels
kind of. Yeah. It's not like a whole year that goes by. What is it? Love is Blind?
Right.
Basically, a whole
They
year
have to
goes
keep that
by.
shit secret for an entire year. That's crazy.
I could never.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm out here.
But yeah, we will see what transpires on August 19th. So, just to close, we're going to do two things. What is your favorite quote from this season specifically, and then your favorite moment or scene?
That's so hard. I mean, you know how much I ride for Leah, but it's like Leah said so many iconic things this season that I can't even think of one. My most recent favorite moment, which it really was. Gosh, it has to be a tie between the conversation that Leah and Rob had and the conversation that Leah, Serena, and Janae had the last day. Yeah, the last day of everything, where they just let each other know how much they loved each other. They just kept saying how grateful they were for one another and how appreciative they were to have someone like each other throughout the whole experience. Sometimes people who could be very closed off and very quiet with how they feel, they could be feeling it, but have a hard time expressing those things. Those are very sweet moments, especially when you have someone like Serena who doesn't wear their heart on their sleeve. And she was given the opportunity to express herself and kind of let that off of her chest and let them know how she was feeling in that moment. I thought that was a great moment.
Yeah.
And fog.
I think the quote that is burned into my brain is, he did his big one up there. He said, now you're sending 3 home. And you're still here in your overalls, bitch. That one was,
He did his big one up there.
And then also when Janae was like, invite me to the fucking party. That was like, honestly, anything that Janae said. She's just like, feels like a soul sister to me.
Yeah.
Everything she said had me cracking up.
Yeah. Is that the one where she had like her shades down?
Yes,
She was like,
yes.
invite me to the party.
Yeah.
So
As far as a favorite scene or moment, I loved anytime that the guys got their asses handed to them. Specifically, I loved the kissing challenge when they all thought that they were going to be so good and then they sucked. Like specifically Hakeem, and he took his shirt off and he was like all, and like they were giving him like
extra.
2s.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Miguel walks in and it was crazy. That was like a really, really good episode in general.
Yeah.
I would say
that's true. The heart rate challenge episode was always fun. The fact that Cordell rose the most girls' heart rates, that makes sense because they were all fucking hysterically laughing. So that's the way to go, basically.
And Leah would kind of went the funny route. I think any time that people had any really honest, heartfelt conversations, as much as I hate to admit it, there's something in me that has a soft spot for Rob, as much as I think that he really needs therapy. But I would agree that that last conversation with Leah, I think that was like a really beautiful moment.
Yeah. Is it because they're so young that it's like the people that they are now, we know, are not like etched into their fucking gravestone? You know, it's like they're not going to stay these people. Rob is not, hopefully, Rob will not stay this Rob.
I would love a Rob redemption arc.
Yeah.
Don't bring him back for another season. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying I would love to see... We do not
need him in Love Island again. He needs to be somewhere else.
I would love to see him grow and progress. I do think, though, that if they do another Love Island Games, which they're not doing it this summer, but I think that they're going to do it again in the future. Oh. I think they'd bring him back for Love Island Games.
Yeah, probably.
Him. I think they'd bring back Miguel.
Yeah.
I think that they'd bring back Nicole. She was so competitive.
She was so good at the boat.
The kayaking.
That girl was rowing.
Yeah. We love love. We love Love Island. We love female friendship love.
We do love
platonic love.
Platonic love.
I love any type of love. I think that that's all that we have. So, in closure, thank you, Love Island, for doing your big one this season.
Did your big one up there.
We see it. We appreciate it. I'm so happy that so many new fans have come to the fandom. Yes. I hope that you keep things as authentic to the Love Island experience as possible. I hope that this season popping off doesn't change things. But yeah, great job. We love you. Keep casting people who are real, authentic, and able to have hard conversations.
And we still would love our water bottles.
Sally, if you're still in them DMs, can we get a water bottle?
We'll buy our own. But at the same time, I am like looking for the flex to say they sent it to me.
Yes. And I would love to put it out there that one day we get to do something in the Love Island fandom that just would be a full circle moment for us.
It really would. I'm here for it.
I want to go to Fiji.
I want to get on an airplane. I want to see Mora in all her glory. I will sit on that couch and sip on whatever drink you make me, honestly.
Can I add another highlight? Mm-hmm. Mora and Ariana's outfits.
Oh,
period.
The wardrobe
End of sentence.
The wardrobe, the makeup. We just talked about this with Ariana. I'm like, she's gotten more hot since the end of Pump Rules, and it doesn't,
which is crazy.
Like, from the beginning of Pump Rules, like she's changed so much and was so young and youthful that just seeing her come into her own year after year as finally we get Ariana in all her glory, because I think that she was always meant to be the person to shine, and I am glad that people are finally recognizing that and realizing that. But yeah, the hair, the makeup, the fits, the abs. I'm like, oh my God, please.
Everything.
I could talk about it all day.
Everything. And I love Maura Higgins. She is Love Island royalty.
What are you thinking? So Harrison, what do you think about that?
Oh, she's so precious.
They're so good.
Queen.
I think we'll just go and kiss everybody. That's really what it is.
Can we have a kissing challenge?
Yeah.
I would love.
Okay, at some point, I don't even think that it has to be for anything. I want to have a Love Island party. I want to have games. So when we start to get our circle together of people, when we start having like friends, and we can have people over for a Love Island party. I don't want it to be bachelorette. I don't want it to be, it could be like a birthday party. That'd be fun.
That'd be fun.
That's such a good winter birthday theme.
Yes.
Because it can be inside. It would just be tough with the games part because those are usually outside. Yeah. But it's like those are kissing games anyway. And unless I know 5 to 7 single men just laying around here that I want to kiss. Okay.
So fun. Yeah.
Let's preface that.
Yeah. And even just from a podcast perspective, as we grow as a group of feelers, I would just love to be able to do like live streams and like you guys tell us what you want. Maybe you don't want this at all, but I would just love to get to a place where we can have more discussions throughout the different seasons. Maybe we create a channel. What is that one? It's not Patreon, but it's like a...
OnlyFans?
We could do that too. No, it's like an app, and then you can like create groups. It's not
Discord.
Meetup.
Twitch.
No. I don't remember. It's along those lines.
Okay.
Yeah. But, maybe we do a Discord and we, like, watch things together live, and then we can have a little discussion after. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I would love to see
Wait,
it grow
everyone
into
bring
that.
your what's in your cup.
Yes.
We'll do a live watch party
Yes.
Discord of Love Island.
Yeah. And then one day, maybe we can host a premiere party in the real lives.
In the real life.
In the persons.
All these rooftop bars doing like screenings and stuff.
Right.
It's popping off.
I'm going to put it out there.
At some point, they're going to need a host.
We're going to get Akash, and we're going to get big outdoor screens, and we're going to have, it's going to get like Love Island-ified decorated.
Yeah.
And we're going to have a girls' night at Akash.
They already
Love
have the
Island.
fire pit.
They already have fire pits, yeah. Just putting it out there.
Ladies,
Just putting it out there.
come meet me at the fire pit immediately. As always, it helps us out mucho, mucho, mucho when you follow the podcast wherever you're listening, Apple or Spotify. Please leave a rating of 5 stars and a review if you wish, just to say hello.
Yeah.
Love ya. Thanks. Thanks so much.
Love you, mean it.
Love ya. Mean it. And then, of course, as always, follow us on our socials, Instagram, TikTok, at empathsanonpod.
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
And if you're more of a visual girly, you can watch us on
YouTube.
which I feel like is a lot more fun, a little more interactive.
Yeah.
And on Spotify, you guys, you can now leave comments on Spotify. And we can answer back to you. That's so fun. So if you're listening on Spotify, it's that easy. You don't even have to go to another platform to talk to us.
It's so good. It's brand new. They just told us.
Yeah.
They're like, you want comments? We got your
We
comments
got
right
your
here.
comments. And
got your
this summer break, we
I
want
want
comments. Name
So-
that movie. If you are a real one, you
If
will
you're
know
a
what
real
movie that's from.
And this winter break, I want comments. Yeah, that's basically all
That's all we have for
that
you.
there is. I hope you enjoyed. Tap in. Talk to me about your bestie. What's your bestie like? Have you guys always been best friends? Did you go through times where you were not as close?
Yeah.
And how did you recover from that?
Tell me who your Powerpuff Girls are in your life.
Comment the color of the heart of your favorite Powerpuff Girl.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah. On Spotify comments.
Yes. You know I'm Buttercup.
Buttercup is blue.
No, the green one.
The green
The one
one.
that's always a little bit grumpy.
Blossom.
Your Blossom, the red one?
She's pink.
Yeah.
Okay. Who's blue?
Bubbles.
Bubbles. Clearly I'm a fan. Okay. And that's it for today.
Thank you so much for listening.
As always.
Signing off on this season of Love Island 6. Thank you so much for bearing with our random episodes, and we hope that you enjoy them. We will maybe find a new show to deep dive human behavior on.
We'll have to check the Netflix.
Thank you guys for listening. We love you so much.
Mwah.
Take
Mwah.
care of yourself and have a good week.
Drink water.
Lots of it.